Hello, everyone. Welcome again to Be Well TV Live. I'm Heidi Brumbaugh with Be Well TV. I'm here today with Roger Lear, president and founder of Orlando Jobs, and we're going to talk a little bit about the current state of the industry with staffing and employment. Roger, thank you for being here. Welcome.
It is wonderful to be here today. Thank you.
Roger, tell me first a little bit about Orlando Jobs. What do you do?
Well, for the last 15 years, Orlando Jobs just compiles all the local jobs that are in the Central Florida job market in every single sector, hospitality, engineering, all the way down the list. And we centralize them all to Orlando Jobs. So it gives a job seeker looking for a job a place to go, knowing that any job that's on there is not only a legitimate job, but it's in the Central Florida region.
So I think everyone knows whether they are currently employed, whether they're an employer, whether they're a job seeker. Everyone knows that things are a little unusual now. What, in your opinion, just kind of describe the current state of the industry, state of affairs, and what you're seeing in your world?
Yeah, it is the weirdest time in the job seeking market. For the first time in 20 years, there's more jobs available than people looking. And that's coming out of pandemic where so many people are unemployed. So those two things don't even make any sense. But at the end of the day, when the pandemic started last year in March, the job unemployment rate went straight up. And now that we're rebounding and so many people got laid off, it's doing just the opposite, right? We need all those workers that got laid off or furloughed or whatever. We need them to all come back to the workforce. That's where the challenge is. The workers are still on the sidelines, and a lot of industries are really struggling to find great talent.
Now, are there specific industries that are being affected the most, or are you seeing it across all industries?
Yeah, ironically, you hear a lot about the restaurants and the hospitality industries, the hotels and things like that, and that is a major situation going on right now. But no, it's in a lot of areas because when the economy rebounds, the companies first go after salespeople, right?
Sure.
And salespeople are hard to find in a normal marketplace, So if you're out and if you like the sales world, there are so many of those types of jobs open. Now that we're seeing the hospitality industry, obviously, but the little known fact about the hospitality industry, the parks aren't even at full capacity yet.
Right.
And the reason they're not is they can't hire enough people to get there. And so they're making a lot of pivots and changes of the way they do salary structures and so forth. Job seekers are just at such an advantage today that they've never had before, and it's only going to last for a few months. And that advantage is the ability to negotiate better pay, better hours, and more choices in jobs. If you wanted to, you could have 5 or 6 job interviews today,
right,
in so many areas.
So a lot of employers are maybe complaining that it's because people are sitting at home on unemployment, and there's a lot of implication that there are a lot of lazy people and they just don't want to go back to work. Of course, there's a flip side to that. So in your opinion, is unemployment affecting the rate at which people are going back to the workplace?
Yeah, it's really easy to understand that when you look at the statistics, right? The last unemployment statistics of the people that went back to work, 80% of the people that went back to work were males. And that tells half the story. It's just not about unemployment and everything else. The working mothers that have been in the workforce that are out are still at home taking care of their kids and homeschooling and things like that. So they're really not even at a position to be able to go back to work. And that's something that's really overlooked a little bit. And until that starts getting back to normal, we're going to see a shortage of employees. And the other thing that's happened too is a lot of people, thankfully, have taken this time over the course of the last 12, 14 months and learned new skills, have learned that, hey, I can find a remote job in Alaska and work it from Orlando, Florida. I don't have to go and pay tolls and drive and do all this other stuff.
Right.
I can sit at home and do that. And that person is not going to go back to that job that they potentially had with their employers calling them on the phone saying, hey, come on back, we need you, you know.
Right. Now, have you seen that a lot of people have changed industries as well? Because obviously, people in hospitality in Orlando were hit very hard last year, both the employers and the employees. And I know a lot of employees, I know people personally that just changed careers, it just went into a completely different industry altogether. Have you seen that a lot?
I have, and just by talking to people, it's not something I can measure at the moment. But what I do know is that the job seekers that hated or disliked, I should say, their jobs before COVID, when they got furloughed or laid off, they really did have that time to soul search. And so many people with so much online learning, so much information, so much virtual everything out there, you could have learned about anything. And a lot of people took advantage of that. The best thing to come out of COVID for job seekers, I think, quite honestly, as painful as it was to lose a job, it also gave them a chance to not worry about necessarily jumping back into something else because, hopefully they were getting some sort of compensation, whatever, but it gave them the opportunity to say, hey, what else might be out there for me? What skills can I learn? What can I do? And some people definitely took advantage of that.
So you mentioned that you have a large project that you've started with the state where you are actually recruiting employees for a lot of employees for multiple positions to work for the state of Florida, and you've had to implement some new tactics and techniques. What are some of those techniques things that other employers can use?
Yeah. Yeah, yes, absolutely. So we've been tasked with hiring 420 people for the state of Florida in 90 days. And to do that in a market like this, it almost sounds unbearable, right?
Right.
But, the challenge in recruiting for an employer, I don't care if you're a restaurant or if you're a Fortune 500 company, it is the pool of candidates. How do you get them into your organization? And so I would tell any employer right now the three things that I definitely learned from this whole process is that the social media referral marketing, advertising, of building a campaign to entice and target the types of individuals that you need on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, even TikTok now and so forth, to drive people to whatever link that is. And that's been very, very powerful.
Interesting.
The other thing I would tell every single employer out there, redo your application process. People look for jobs on phones. If you're a larger application or a larger company, you send them to your applicant tracking system, which requires them to, rewrite the Bible basically.
Right.
They can't do that on their phone. It should be a link. You just want to gather their name and number and their email address, and if they have a resume, the problem on phones, the number one problem is most people cannot attach a resume on its phone to an email because it's not stored on their phone.
Sure.
And so when you require that, you lose that applicant. You just want to get that lead. And I can tell you right now, out of the 10,000, at least 10,000 leads that we had, only 40% of them had application or had a resume attached. And that's a big number because that means 60% didn't, but I still have their information. And then we were able to reach back out to them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of small businesses. I think of restaurants and small stores and, a lot of companies like that got hit pretty hard, and now they're ramping back up again, and they're ready to get back to business. They're ready to reopen at 100% and do business as usual. They're smaller and don't necessarily have the time, the resources, and the money to invest in a lot of the job posts on like Indeed or probably even Orlando Jobs and
Right.
things like that. What kinds of how can a small business stand out to attract the potential employees?
Yeah. Well, a couple ways, but first and foremost, they have to have a social recruiting campaign. If they don't, they're missing out, and it's not that expensive. So, if money is an issue in recruiting people, the business may have another issue. And I've always said that because the value to an excellent candidate, whether it's a server, a salesperson, an engineer, a claims adjuster, it doesn't matter what the title is. They bring an A candidate brings a certain level of value to a company that by far precedes whatever it costs to get them there. But to create that is, they probably they need some help. And there's a lot of different ad agencies and things like that might be able to do that, or they can design it themselves and just learn about targeting by going to YouTube videos and put, hey, how do I do a Facebook recruiting marketing campaign? And they're going to get a ton of videos on this is what you do and that. You just have to be out there. The other thing too is, still the number one way an employee comes into a company today, and it's been this way since the beginning of time, is referrals. And so your restaurants, right? They're filling up with people, right? And they're saying, "Oh, I can't find anybody." Well, every day they have this whole group of people that come in, and why can't you just say, "Hey, listen, here's the we're giving $50 gift cards to anybody that you refer to
that's a
us
great idea.
that work here." And if you post, here's the link. If you post this link on your social media for us, and someone comes in through this link, we'll give you a referral bonus and stuff like that. But
That is a fantastic idea. So I'm just going to repeat it to the audience at home. If you're a small business owner that has customers come into your business that frequent your business, or even if they're only there once, print a small card and give it to them. If you refer our job, if you share our job openings, job opportunities on social media, you will get a $20 or a $50 or a coupon, and that's going to bring that customer back as well as get some new potential employees. That is a fantastic idea.
Oh yeah. And the other place that they miss too is they have their own employees that they don't engage in those employee referral programs. Engage them, especially because they already know the business, and they could even be more passionate on their social media. And in today's world, I'll tell you, it's just like any rating system on anything. If you had a job here and you put it out on all your social, they would respect that, and you would get a lot of leads. There's no question. But if you paid for that same post to get targeted the type of person you need, you'd be shocked at how many more people you get, as long as your application process isn't horrible.
Sure. So employees, now you mentioned it's an employee market. There's an opportunity to potentially negotiate a better package. What kinds of things can employees look for a great opportunity?
Well, right now in every sector, since they are in demand, if you bring the skill set that they need, whatever that might be, if it's customer service, if it's waiting tables, if it's graphic design, if you can bring that to the table, most of the jobs that are being hired right now, they needed them yesterday.
Right.
So that gives any job seeker the ability to make the case of, hey, this is why I'm great for this job, and this is what I require to come work. And if those things match up, if it doesn't match up initially, it probably will, because they can size you up, and then they'll say, okay, it's going to cost me an extra $5,000 a year to hire you, but I need you, because the amount of money that we're losing not having somebody at your level on our staff. So, and it's a fantastic marketplace to be in if you're a job seeker. So, and that's across all industries too, by the way. So.
Are there any kinds of benefits that employers should consider offering aside from like a referral? Do employers need to think about medical insurance and maybe gas cards or like what things can employers offer?
Yeah, employers, the big thing coming out now is what is the setup at the office, right? And the cleanliness and all those types of things. Because even if COVID leaves now, everybody's still going to be a little bit wary of the guy coughing next to them in the office. So how they're going to deal with that. So they can really make a good campaign around how beautiful their environment is. That's always a good selling point. But no, the health benefits is always a major thing, whether it's post-COVID or pre-COVID. And being able to help out employees, have health insurance is by far the number one statistic. And then the other thing that's really happening now is a lot of companies already have it with their health plans, but they have never really promoted it. But there's a big mental issue going on with the way people, there's been depression, there's been all types of things throughout COVID. A company that is open and transparent about how they can help that future employee address that, and with the resources that they have, that's also an awesome benefit. And most employers have that benefit; they just don't even realize it, believe it or not. So. With their health plans, yeah.
Yeah, interesting. So, Roger, you mentioned you have a large job fair coming up. Can you give me some of those details?
Yeah, we are thinking by August that people are really going to want to get going. I think as this vaccination rate keeps going up, people are going to be more safe. I know that the unemployment money goes away on the 26th of June, things like that. But the most important thing is for job seekers getting a great job. So on August 20th, we're hoping to have the largest job fair ever in Florida, just not in Central Florida, but with all types of resources there, not just jobs and great companies, but speakers that can really help you with your careers, community partners that have all types of resources to help job seekers and people in need, whether you're a veteran, disabled, all that kind of stuff. And then on top of that, free headshots and just kind of refresh the job market and really have a special day called Hire Day Orlando. Yeah. So.
And again, the date is.
It's right now targeted for August 20th, and that's that should be the go time. Yes.
Okay. And
crossing our fingers.
So how would the viewers at home get more information both about that job fair and about Orlando jobs?
Yeah, everything will be at orlandojobs.com. So
fantastic.
It's very simple.
Fantastic. And I assume they can get all of the information that they need as an employer and as an employee. And if someone wanted to talk more directly to you, would they also go through Orlando Jobs?
Yeah, or just email me, Roger at Orlando Jobs. That's very simple too. But we have a lot of resources too on our site and a lot of articles and things and so forth. And the biggest thing for job seekers and you're out there, listen to me. You got to optimize your resume. So go and look at those videos on our site, because the optimization of resume is what's not doing is what's preventing them from getting jobs as well. So the great jobs. So
fantastic. Well, Roger, thanks so much for being here. That was fantastic. Great information. I hope everyone enjoyed it at home. Roger, thank you again. Be well. For those of you at home, make sure that you watch us on BeWellTV.online. We look forward to seeing you next time. Be well.